Hi and welcome to a Tech Install video. We're going to build this fully featured multi-purpose PC for gaming, creative apps or family needs with this hardware from ASUS and Corsair. First of all, let's talk about the motherboard, which in this case is the golden ASUS Z87 Deluxe. It's got the brand new Intel Z87 chipset and LGA 1150 socket for the latest Intel 4th generation core CPUs. For this build, we're going to use the Core i5 4670K CPU, which has an unlocked multiplier so we can overclock it. This ASUS board features advanced power control. Intel does a lot of power optimization on its new CPUs, but ASUS has taken energy efficiency and performance control board-wide with its new 4-way optimization. This means an active balance between the EPU, TPU, Digi+ power control and Fan Expert 2 components, which adjust depending on your real-time usage. The included Wi-Fi Go module supports dual-band 802.11ac wireless, and the bundled Wi-Fi Go software makes it simple to set up DNLA streaming, remote desktop from tablets, and online cloud Go cloud storage. It's even got an NFC Express dongle included in the box. You can use the bundled NFC keys, or if you've got NFC-enabled devices like this Padphone Infinity, you can log into Windows 8 extremely quickly, launch key apps or back up your phone's pictures and videos without digging around for a cable. It's now time to get building, starting with the CPU. Firstly, lift the arm and lid and remove the protective cap. These notches show you which way the processor goes in. Just line them up. The pins are fragile, so make sure you don't touch them. Gently drop in the CPU and lock it down with the arm. Now we need to install the motherboard into the case, but first let me show you why we've chosen the Corsair 600T. It has two large 200mm fans, one at the top and one at the front, for low noise cooling. Although this can be extended with an extra 4 in the side panel if needed. There's a fan controller in the front, and there's space for 6 hard drives or SSDs as well. Corsair's helpfully pre-installed the motherboard standoffs for an ATX board in the case, so all we have to do is drop in the motherboard and screw it down. Here is the Corsair H60 liquid CPU cooler. We've chosen it because it provides good cooling performance with overclocking capacity at a great price-performance ratio that fits our build. The cooler needs thermal paste to ensure it works efficiently. On this cooler, however, it's already applied. Now we'll install the CPU cooler. Corsair designed the H60 to fit perfectly into the 600T, so there's no worry there, and there's a large gap in the motherboard tray so we can get behind to mount the cooler. We need to install the memory next. To match the budget, we've chosen 8GB of Corsair Vengeance memory, although the board will support up to 32GB if you want to upgrade in the future. Note that despite this being 1600 MHz, when you first turn on any PC, it will run the memory at 1333 MHz, so you'll need to go into the UEFI BIOS to enable the higher clock frequency. Memory needs to be installed in pairs to get the best performance. So if you're only using 2 modules, install one in each of the yellow slots. There's a notch to line up with the socket, and then we just push them in firmly. While the Intel Core i5 4670K CPU has its own graphics chip built in, As we want great gaming potential, we've opted for the ASUS GTX 660 DirectCU 2. The upgraded DirectCU 2 design is cooler and quieter than the reference design, while inside it has super alloy hardware that improves longevity and overclocked performance. We need to remove these blanking plates first, and the card goes in the first PCI Express slot. If you want to add further graphics cards for NVIDIA SLI, just drop another into the lower PCI Express slot and add the SLI bridge. The next stage is to install the drives. Remove the panel for the optical drive and slide it into the bay, fixing it with the clips. For the hard drive, we've chosen a Corsair Neutron SSD for this build, as it's one of the fastest SATA 3 SSDs available. 256 gigs provides enough space for your OS, apps and half a dozen games, and the ASUS Z87 Deluxe has a total of 10 SATA ports, so there's tons more upgrade potential as well. It's important to have both sufficient power and a stable output if you want a reliable PC. In this case, we're using the Corsair HX650, which certainly has enough wattage for our build. Even if you add several more hard drives, peripherals, or even an extra GTX 660 DirectCU graphics card, it has enough spare capacity. With the power supply installed, we need to plug it all in. As you can see, the 600T has plenty of cable routing holes so we can tidy them behind the motherboard tray. Now it's time to plug everything in. There are the 24-pin ATX and 8-pin CPU power cables and the front panel connectors for the switches and lights. The SATA power goes to the drives, and for the graphics card, we have the PCI Express connectors. And that's everything done. When you boot it up, you'll notice new things in ASUS's UEFI BIOS, like new fan controls in easy mode, quick notes, shortcuts and favorites. And when you exit, there's even a list of changes for you to double check. To make it a full system, we're using the ROG GX1000 mouse, a CM Storm mesh keyboard, and ASUS MX Series monitor. Don't forget, you need to add in the cost of an OS to install too. If you wish to build your own fully featured multi-purpose PC, you can see the full spec list in the index underneath the video. When you're done, please show us your efforts at Tech Install, as we'd love to see them.